Hi everybody, welcome to my public service announcement. My name is Olivia, and today we're going to be talking about TBI, or traumatic brain injury. Now, when you think of a traumatic brain injury, you're probably thinking, oh, it sounds like a concussion, but no, it's much more than a concussion. So there's actually two types of brain injuries that can occur. The first being a penetrating brain injury. So what this happens is when a foreign object enters the brain, breaks through the skull, breaks through the meninges, something like a bullet, a metal pole, anything that is not supposed to be inside the brain gets in and tears the meninges. So there is also a non-penetrating brain injury, and this occurs when nothing outside of the brain gets in, but when something happens inside of the skull and inside of the meninges. So this can be something like a tumor, a hematoma, or a concussion. So like I said before, the meninges are not torn. So now that we know the different types of brain injuries, we're going to talk about what changes inside the brain. So as we all know, the brain has very, very different parts. I hope you like my bad drawing there. So like I said, the brain has many different parts to it. There are different lobes, different sections. So depending on what part is injured, that's going to be what you see changes in. Well, now you're probably thinking, well, what the heck am I supposed to be looking for? What actually happens? Well, there's a lot of different things that can happen depending on where the injury occurred in the brain. One thing that can happen are neurobiological changes. People could become very sleepy, they could seem very confused, they can seem angry, they can be at a loss for words. People can also have physical changes, so they have a loss of balance, they could be very nauseous all the time, they could be susceptible to headaches, sensitive to light and sensitive to sound. They could also have cognitive changes, which is, having no sense of time, can't find their words or have a hard time putting their their thoughts into words, and can be very, very distracted. So there's also social and emotional changes too. So they could be, either sad or anxious, or they could also just not be motivated at all, which is really sad in my opinion. So another common symptom is to have impulsivity. So a lot of people like to spend money when they have a traumatic brain injury. What can you do as a caregiver and to help these individuals recover? You have to be very patient. They're obviously recovering from something very serious. You need to give them all the time that they need. You also need to believe them. If they're not feeling good, if they're feeling weak, or whatever the symptom is, definitely believe them because it's absolutely true. And of course, always consult a doctor if you have any questions, because when in doubt, always check it out. Gotta double check everything, make sure everything's okay. So like I said before, everybody reacts very differently, so you always have to be alert and make sure you know any different changes, anything else that could be concerning. Make sure you take note of that, and be sure to always consult someone and ask for opinions. Nothing wrong with getting a second opinion, for sure. And as always, show some love, be supportive, be there for them just as you would want them to be there for you, because after all, who else is going to take care of them and advocate for them and help them through this tough time? So that was my rant on TBI. Please leave a comment if you have any questions, and thank you so much.